Hit. And go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Cape Time, and we are here to review Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Just saw this last night. So did Tom, and man, we got a lot of thoughts on this movie, man. I mean, it's obviously doing really good right now in the box office, which is great for theaters and of course everyone involved. I'm really happy to see. The reviewers are really into it right now, along with just general audiences with a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think, for the audience score. I mean, people are loving this stuff right now.
Yeah, this is pretty much universally, well liked, Marvel movie, which, you know, we haven't seen in a little while. Sounds like if you look at like Far From Home, that did really well. If you look at all the scores and stuff, Endgame obviously. So it's been a little while, but that's mainly because we had a pandemic to deal with, and we haven't had many Marvel movies in the past few years. So, but yeah, it's doing really well, and it's making money, which is great to see. Because this is a pretty big monumental film. Marvel Studios is the biggest brand in Hollywood right now, and we haven't had a movie with such with an Asian cast. Basically, it's pretty much primarily all Asian cast. If I remember correctly. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
can't really think of any white people.
the only non-Asian I can think of is Trevor Slater, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Ben Kingsley's character, and he was there because
He's
they were
fun.
pissed at what he did in
That
Iron
was
Man
such a
3.
good move.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a huge film, man, just for that reason alone. But the thing is that it's a really awesome movie, and couldn't be happier with it. I'm so excited to see more involving these characters. It's really cool that they build up like their own like kind of lore, if that makes sense. Like
I mean, this
there's
is a whole other side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in itself. I mean, this could be like, if this wasn't even Marvel, this could be a whole franchise by itself. Like, it's not at all reliant on being in this Marvel universe at all. It's just the lore, the whole story behind it, this whole land that it was undiscovered, all these creatures. I mean, it's unlike anything we've seen in Marvel as a whole to this point, man. And that's what I think makes it so unique and fun for all these audiences, because they've never seen something like this before.
Yeah, you definitely haven't seen anything like it in the MCU before, for sure. I'm just really happy with it. I'm gonna yawn a few times just because I got back late last night, but it was good. It was really good, and I need more of it. Honestly, I need more. I want to see. I'm excited to see where Shang-Chi shows up next, and obviously this movie is gonna get sequels because every Marvel movie gets sequels. So especially with the way it's performing at the box office and critically, and the fans love it as well. This movie is definitely getting a sequel. No, I'm kidding. I love my dog. 4, 8, 9. I have it at 10th right
Wow.
now.
Oh.
I really liked it.
You see, I'm lower, but I liked it a lot, though. It's not like I didn't like it. It's just that there's so many good projects I love, man. I ended up
Yeah.
putting, I have it at 15, and that was because, I mean, I'll save the cons for later because there's a lot more pros than cons, obviously. So, I mean, there's minimal things, honestly. It's just a few things that I thought maybe could have been done differently. But overall, man, I mean, it's hard to be upset with this movie at all. I mean, there's a reason why everybody loves this movie. I mean, it's there's nothing you can look at this movie and be like, oh, this is just bad. Like, no, like everything about this movie, it made sense. It was done tastefully. I mean, the only thing I didn't like on occasion, I guess I will give one con. There were like one or two instances where I felt like the comedy was unnecessary. Maybe it's just me. There was like one or two times, and I was like, okay, come
Yeah,
on.
it definitely there were definitely like once or twice that happened for me as
But
well,
not often though. It wasn't often.
not it wasn't because sometimes it can get like overbearing in the MCU where it's like
No, I
okay
know.
we got to slow down a little bit here, but like in this I feel like they balanced it pretty much flawlessly minus like one or two times.
Yeah, no, it was usually fine. The one that annoyed me though, I remember it was during the flashback on the plane, and then
When
that one
the
pissed me. I was like, really?
vegetarian or pork.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
we were in the
I
middle of
mean,
a
or beef.
moment. Like, what the hell was that?
We couldn't have. They tried to break up the drama with the humor, and like sometimes they just need to realize we don't need a joke
Yeah, like
every.
sometimes you can just let it sit. Like that's one of those cases.
You don't have to hit like a certain quota for jokes. You know what I'm
Agreed.
saying? Like you
Because
don't.
that's exactly what that moment felt like. Like
They're
I
like,
can't see it.
hey, it's
Yeah.
like the writers were like, hey, this is getting really dark. Should we continue going? No, throw a
No, no,
joke
no,
in
no,
there.
no.
We got to break it up. We can't get too serious here. It's like, come on, guys. We can handle it. We can handle it. I've seen The Dark Knight. All right. So you know, we can handle it. Don't worry, Marvel. Okay. So, but other than that, I felt like everything fit very well. This is a very interesting structure of a Marvel film.
I was gonna say actually, that's actually one thing I liked and disliked. Like structurally, it was weird.
I really dug it honestly. Like
Like
it
the only
feels
thing
like
is the beginning. I don't know. Like the way it was constructed and came together, it felt kind of awkward to me in the beginning. Like my friends kind of felt the same way too. Like the beginning, maybe I'm not sure if it was the pacing, but something just felt kind of off. Like when we got to the bus scene, like the route we took to get there and how quick it came. I was like, oh whoa, whoa. Like, it was kind of weird, but
I really enjoy how we got right into it because usually in like origin films you go through the origin like right at the start and it takes like almost like an hour to get the superhero like suited up.
yeah, it was a different approach for sure.
It's like a different approach to it. I actually quite liked it, honestly. I didn't mind that at all. I'm actually happy that like they had the nuts to actually, uh, try something different structurally. Uh, and yeah, I actually dug that part. And it's kind of cool that we're in the like we just talked about. It's like a world that we're just getting into within the MCU. This whole new world and I like the fact that we're finding things out as the film progresses about what happened in the past to lead to all of this. I actually kind of like the structural approach to it. It would have felt a little weirder if it was more straightforward. If I'm honest, so
No,
I'm
I do
actually happy
agree.
with it.
I do like because when they use sometimes I don't like the use of flashbacks, but in this movie though,
I really
I
like it.
felt they were used very well. Like the timing of them in particular, it always felt very natural, very flowing, and
Hmm.
that was one thing I praised the movie for because there's many movies where they kind of just throw in flashbacks at very random and awkward spots, and it's like, why are we
It's like,
going
hey,
through now?
we should probably explain what's going on here.
Yeah, but narratively though, in this movie, they always knew the right emotional
It always made
beats.
sense to me
They
for
always
sure.
put it in a spot that made sense, so I
Yeah,
appreciate that a lot.
yeah, good job, everyone, everyone who worked on that.
And I mean, like we talked about, I mean, I think we can both agree one of the best parts of this movie is too. I mean, the cast as a whole, man. I mean, they killed it. They
Yeah,
really killed it.
yeah, it's funny because the last movie that this dude wrote, the dude that wrote this movie wrote was Mortal Kombat and Wonder Woman '84.
And
So
you can
it,
tell to an extent, like stylistically, how he would also be involved with those movies.
hmm, uh, yeah, but yes, very good job, and like you said about the cast, I'm everyone kicks ass in this movie, not just figuratively, but also literally.
I mean,
Uh,
Seaman's awesome, man. I mean, what can I even say about him? He's a superstar. I mean,
yeah,
everyone's right about that. Like at first, I wasn't sure. Like going into it, I was like, is this guy really gonna be as good as people have said? And you know what? He lives up to every bit of that hype. I mean, he's just such an endearing character, such an endearing actor, and he seems like an awesome dude, man. I love everything about him, and I can't wait to see more of him for sure. I mean, I need more of him immediately.
It's pretty cool to see like all of the shit that he did in camera with the
Yeah,
fighting.
because he did almost all of his own stunts, and that's really awesome. I mean, that's why they cast him in part aside from his good acting, because they knew this is a guy that could also kick some fucking ass in real life if he wanted to.
Yeah, he really is Shang-Chi, like in real life, which is pretty cool. He kicks some ass, and it's cool that he got. I think he had a TV show last year that got canceled, and it's good to see him land directly on his feet. And now he's going to be making millions of dollars, starring in a huge franchise. That's when the pandemic is over. I can bet that the Shang-Chi sequel will make quite a few dollars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested to see how much money this one makes, because we've talked about this before. I mean, this is a movie that for the future of movies as a whole this year is so important. I mean, every studio is looking at this movie saying, if this movie doesn't do well, how the hell are our movies going to do well? This is a Marvel blockbuster Labor Day weekend. Like, it needs to do numbers. Otherwise, how can we possibly justify releasing our movies? And I get it from a business perspective. I do. And, right now it looks like, according to Hollywood Reporter, I mean, they're probably going to end up getting, what did it say, 80 to 85 million possibly?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are great numbers. I mean, and especially because you compare it to Black Widow so far, and some people have said, it's not making quite as much as Black Widow, but you got to keep in mind this is a character people don't know. Like the fact that an unknown Marvel character like Shang-Chi is about to match the numbers of Black Widow in the same, climate and that we're going through right now, it speaks volume to just the power of Marvel and how much people are willing to trust them on this. And I think as these reviews keep coming out and people hear about how fun it is, I think it's going to beat the Black Widow numbers for sure. And I think that's going to prevent at least future Marvel delays for the time being, if I had to guess, which would be really good, man.
Yeah, we actually have to be like we have to pay attention to box office numbers. Usually you don't, but now in
Right
this
now we
new
have to.
but now we have to, because like the only way studios are going to feel comfortable releasing more movies is by them actually starting to turn profit on the movies that they release. So I'm really happy that we're at a point now where Shang-Chi got released and people are starting to feel comfortable going back to the movie theaters. You know, and what's crazy is that Black Widow did those numbers, and they had the streaming option. I don't know if the streaming option was included in the total numbers,
Well,
but
you got to keep in mind too. The thing is, unlike Black Widow, and Black Widow started really hot, just like
cooled
Shang-Chi is
off.
probably going to. It just cooled off really bad. And the thing is, I don't think Shang-Chi is going to have that
I
cool off
think
period.
I think it might, because like the people that really 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 want to see it are going to see it in the first week, and
Well, I mean, it's
then
going to
like
cool down to an extent, of course, but I
yeah,
mean,
but
you're not going
like
to have that option of going to Disney Plus to watch it instead, and that's a big part of what definitely killed it. I mean, I even almost considered watching it on Disney Plus instead of going to the theaters, and I'm as big of a Marvel fan as anybody at this point. So, like, I mean, it just goes to show. I mean, sometimes when you're not totally sure on a movie, you're just gonna end up taking the easier route if it's an option. But right now, there's only one route with Shang-Chi. So if you're a Marvel fan, you're just gonna go to the theaters and see it. So the box office numbers, I think, in the end, are probably gonna surpass Black Widow if I were a betting man. I think they will, but I'm not saying by a ton, but I think it will, and that's
mm,
pretty huge if that happens.
yeah, I think my gut says it will. They don't really have many movies coming out soon that to compete with it. Honestly, I'm looking at the upcoming film slate, and
Yeah.
there's no movies coming out that I can see uh, that are big huge blockbusters. And my phone is now glitching out. Give me 1 second. Gotta kill that
Yeah.
out. Okay. Yes, I'm good. That was on me. My phone when you open certain apps on my phone right now, it slows the phone down and is like, I don't want to deal with that right now. But like I was saying, certain movies, like there aren't any big blockbuster movies coming out until October so far. If you look at the
Mhm.
film release slate, Shang-Chi's got all of September to to just kind of be that number one movie for people to like.
Exactly.
If you're a casual movie theater, I mean a moviegoer, like 2 weeks from now, and you're like, oh, what movie should we see?
You're gonna see
Uh, Shang-Chi is gonna be that movie, and
and that's why I have faith.
I think like when Black Widow came out, you have to remember that Suicide Squad came out like a few weeks after, and also Fast and Furious 9 came out a few weeks before. So like they had other options to go see, but like you don't really have many other options besides Shang-Chi right now. So if I were to guess, it's gonna have a bit more staying power than Black Widow.
I
So.
will say I do look forward to the next movie getting a little bit of a budget increase because this movie didn't have a low budget, but compared to a lot of other Marvel movies, it was fairly low actually. I mean, you're talking 150.
Yeah,
Like that's pretty low for a Marvel movie. Like
pretty
that's
low. It didn't really
fairly
need
low.
to. It didn't really need to have like
No, but
a
that's because they had a
gigantic
lot of
budget.
like, especially at the end, a lot of CG elements, and then I thought maybe like I wouldn't be shocked if most of the budget went towards that ending, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
really.
like
Yeah,
most.
like half of the budget was in the last 20 minutes.
That's what I'm
Uh,
saying. Like most of that budget probably went to the end of the movie, and I think that like I told you this, even though it didn't bother you, but in the beginning, I thought the CG was kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like especially there was one part where like these gold coins came out of a car, and like it looks so fake, and I can't even explain it. Like it looked like rubber coins, and then like the way the bus was moving on the street looked so unnatural. Like yeah, it just looked really fake in the beginning, and it kind of bothered me. But as the movie went on, though, like there was less of that, and the ending I thought mostly looked fine. It was really just the beginning for some reason. I don't know why, but it was weird.
yeah, I didn't really have too many issues with the CGI. I think there was one that stood out though for me, and it was when Wenwu, Tony Leung's character, knocked Shang-Chi into the water. I don't
I
know if you,
I do remember that. Yes.
yeah, and it looked bad. But like other than that, everything looked great, especially when you're dealing with so much CGI. And this is one of the rare times when I don't mind the big CGI battle in the third act. Like it's one of the rare times when I don't actually. I'm actually. Oh, okay. This is actually. It's actually pretty natural, all things considered. I know one of probably the biggest complaint. It's not really a huge complaint. One of the biggest complaints that you and I have right now is it felt like the last like 10 minutes of the big climactic fight could have been cut out. You didn't really need the whole
The Dweller in Darkness stuff.
dweller in darkness.
Yeah,
You didn't.
that is my probably my biggest
You
complaint.
could
Not
have
that it's a
ended it.
huge, but it's my
You could
biggest, I think.
you could have ended it right as Wenwu died.
That's what I'm saying. I
That
feel
could
like you
like that
could
was
have
a
focused
cutoff
more on
point.
that.
That was a cutoff point right there. You could have just wrapped that one up. But
And
like
hell, if you really wanted to make it worse, have the fight between him and his father go close to the death, and then I'm not sure how you would end it, but maybe he's somehow like half responsible for his death somehow, and he has to go through that guilt. Like you could really like play on that a lot and go through a lot of character development through his death there. But because of the Dweller in Darkness, it kind of just speeds right through it, and you go to the big CGI battle, and you get the brief scene at the end with where they're sending out the little lanterns across the lake, and that's like the only really moment where they talk about the father for like 2 seconds, and they move on, and it's kind of like, okay, he died, that's it. But they really needed to take their time with that more, give it more, let it
well
sit more.
the reason why they couldn't let it sit is because obviously the Dweller he had to go stop
Well,
the
yeah,
Dweller
that's
in
my
Darkness
point.
and
Like,
save the world. But yeah, but that's why they should have found a way around that to end it there as one who died. Somehow, maybe as one who sacrifices himself, he figures out a way to stop Dweller in Darkness, something like that. where you can, instead of having to go directly to finish off Dweller in Darkness, you could have just ended it there and then had Simu act his ass off in a tearful way, as his father is lying there dead, and the fight's over, and he's just it's just him and his father's dead body right there. And that's kind of how I would have ended it.
Yeah.
Something like that. One who makes a sacrifice, but also the sacrifice ends up stopping Dweller in Darkness, and then you didn't need to have that. You didn't need like that the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that. That's my biggest
I
issue.
saved you some runtime, Feige. You're welcome.
Yeah, that is literally my only issue with the movie. Not my only issue, but it's my only like legit like I really wish they
Is
didn't.
that a common issue that people are having?
What?
Because I remember, like, before I saw the movie, that people were talking about like that.
Well,
an
people
aspect
didn't
of the
like.
end.
I feel like people didn't like the whole CG crazy battle part though, but that wasn't my issue. Like from what I saw, like that's what people were saying. Like we didn't need that whole big battle at the end. It's like no,
I'm
I didn't
actually
like the
cool
big
with the
battle.
big battle. I'm
No,
cool with the
that
big
was fine.
battle.
That was
I just think
totally.
like I'm just thinking like the tail end of the battle.
Yeah,
Could have
exactly.
been
That's
done.
what you didn't
Could
need.
Yeah, like that's like the one part you take out, then you're like, oh, okay. But like overall, it's really good. Overall, I'm really happy with it. I do wish, this is just me being. I wish we got even more of the hand-to-hand stuff.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
the thing is, it was good, but their hand-to-hand stuff was
I want
really
even
just
more of that shit. Give me
like
more of that in
we
the
really
future.
got two big hand-to-hand fights. That was the bus scene, and probably my favorite scene, or one of my like top 2 or 3 favorite scenes. Definitely the fight on the side of the building. That
Yeah,
shit,
that
that
was so.
shit was awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
that was. I was just looking at my friends like, holy
I want
shit!
even more of that shit in the future. Like,
Exactly.
give me even more of that, man. Because, like, my God, and it's all choreographed. It's all in camera, and like you got them doing like acrobatic shit as well. It's like a cool balancing dance, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. I love this movie. It was so dope, man. I mean, and like we were talking about, before the movie came out, there were some concerns that like Aquafina's character would have been just comedic relief. She would have been the person to make those cut in jokes where we're trying to have serious moments when we want the serious moments, and then she's the one that says like a one liner joke, right? But no, she actually fit really well into
Well, the
this
thing is,
character.
what makes me like her so much more is that she has such good chemistry with Simu in the movie, and I mean,
Yeah,
that's a really big part of what allows her to work so well because she is a comic relief character a lot, but she does
in a
have
way, but like
like
not
in a lot of ways, but she's
overbearing.
more than that. She is
Yeah,
more than that, and she's not
I
overbearing
don't
like you
I
said.
don't feel like she was like too like it wasn't too rapid fire joke 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 joke
I
joke.
mean,
No,
really,
she
the,
had
the
her own.
comic relief character of the movie was Trevor Slattery. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
And he wasn't annoying at all. In fact, I loved every single joke
No,
he made. But
no, and
I'm just saying,
honestly, he played a pretty important role by the end.
yeah.
With him and him. What was the creature's name?
Oh,
Uh, I forgot. I forgot, but it was.
I didn't think he was gonna have that big of a role. Honestly, I thought he was gonna have like a little quick cameo, and maybe
Yeah,
he's there for the final
Morris. It's
battle.
Morris. His name is Morris.
Yes. I
Yes.
didn't. I did not think he was gonna have that big of a role at all. So I was really happy when I saw like, oh my god, he's actually going on this journey with them. That is so
Yep.
cool.
Yep. Yeah, I'm really I really like how I just think like I really like how everyone in this movie like has their own like purpose, if that makes sense. It didn't feel like
Yeah,
any characters were unnecessary.
I love the sister in the
It's
movie. She was
cool.
really good.
It's cool that like there was like a Wong and Abomination cameo, and that was cool. But like overall, like I like the fact that this is very much a contained story. There aren't many there aren't too many MCU references.
No, even the Wong and Abomination camp, that was even quicker than I thought it was going to be,
Yeah, it was
honestly.
pretty brief. It
Like,
was
I
just
thought it was going to be a little bit longer than that, but it was literally like
it was
30
just
seconds.
hey, they're just fighting right there, and like yeah, but like it's not. It's very much a Shang-Chi movie first instead of a Marvel
It's
movie, which
entirely a Shang-Chi movie first. I mean, they literally almost never reference the outside universe of Marvel. A couple times they do, but it's so small, and it's always necessary when they do, and it makes sense within the story. So, I mean, overall, I mean, again, this movie stands so well on its own, and again, it could literally be a full franchise by itself, taking Marvel out of the equation. Like, that's how big this world can be, and that goes to show you, Marvel is far from done with their world building, man. They have so much more they can do beyond even Shang-Chi. I mean, it's crazy how much they can do.
yeah, I really also like. I know I kind of ramble a little bit, but like I really also like how they made a choice with Shang-Chi's character uh, that usually in these movies the superhero is portrayed as almost angelic, makes no mistakes, right?
Yeah,
This is common in most Hollywood superhero and in just like big budget franchises where the person has no demons in their past, Uh, but with Shang-Chi, they made a choice with Shang-Chi that I really appreciated. It was a pretty ballsy choice because if you don't do that well, there's potential to make Shang-Chi unlikable. But the way they did it, the way they explained it, actually really worked. And that choice was that originally Shang-Chi says, I left for San Francisco because I couldn't go through with the murder
yeah,
of my mother's killer. But as we find out later in the movie, before the big climactic battle, he actually did kill the guy. And he he just couldn't deal with it anymore. He couldn't deal, and he left for San Francisco, and he actually is a killer. He actually did kill someone, and he did not like that. He did not, and I just really appreciate that choice. I don't know if that was something that they did in the comics. I don't believe it is, but I really think it worked really well here. I like how they took a risk there, and it's pretty ballsy character choice, and I like that.
Kim. No, I definitely like that choice myself, and really that whole character is so deep, and there's just a lot of layers to him, and I mean, even in the beginning of the movie, I mean, this is just a guy who's trying to live a very simple and normal life. Like, he's so desperate to escape, his previous life that was so written with just it was it was
He was
horrible.
basically trained to be an
He
assassin,
was trained
so
to be a
like
killer. Like, he was literally just trained to be a killer. And I mean, he's that scene where he's just punching the wood and there's blood all over his
his
knuckles.
father runs the biggest terrorist organization in the
I
world.
mean, he was raised to be a monster, and he was becoming a monster for a while. But in the end, you know, obviously he ended up killing the
You
killer.
know
But
what? I will say, I think Wenwu is a hero, and I'll tell you why.
I mean,
Because if that man does not blow a hole in Tony Stark's chest, I don't know. I don't know.
I will say I saw Winwu as an antagonist, not a villain. There's a difference.
I don't know. Yeah. And Tony Leung is just fantastic in this movie. He is. He is known. One of the things that he's known for, uh, as an actor. This is his first Hollywood film, by the way, of all time. Uh, he is known for being able to tell any emotion with just his eyes. Like that. That's like he is a living legend in Hong Kong. I believe that's where he's from. He is like he is an absolute legend. He's considered one of the greatest actors of all time, and like in every scene that he's in this movie, it's like, yep, I understand. Yep, and yes, he is from Hong Kong. Uh, so he's awesome, and I wish I kind of wish he didn't die. Just
Oh, it sucks because I
I
really
can
did want to see
I
more of
want to
him.
see more of this guy. Like that dude is so awesome as an actor, and this it's crazy that this is his very first American film. He hasn't been in any. He signed with an American agent in 2005, and it took him 15 years to get in an American film, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty fucking dope. And he is 59 years old. He is a legend, an absolute legend. So he's one of the best parts of this movie. So congratulations, Tony, for making the jump over here to the big Hollywood machine.
Yep,
So
it was a big get for Marvel, man, and
that was a huge get. I
I'm
can't believe
yeah,
they got him. I can't believe that. I can't. Looking at it, he is an absolute legend. Cannot believe that this is the movie that Tony Leung came and but like I can understand why, honestly. Who wouldn't want to be a part of this?
yeah. I mean, it's a story that has a lot of influence from a lot of the classic movies he probably did. Honestly, I mean, there's a lot of things in there. It's more than just a Marvel movie. I mean, it's just so riddled in culture and it has so much into it. The choreography, of course. I mean, I'm sure he was absolutely in love with that aspect of this movie too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just so much to like about Shang-Chi, and I am so happy that Marvel ended up making this movie. And we're at this point now where we just have so much content coming, and it's so awesome, man. I mean, just looking at the upcoming MCU slate, I'm at the point finally where like I'm in because every movie coming out from this point on, I couldn't be more excited about, quite honestly. Like, when's the next Marvel movie? You're like, I can't think of one. I really can't.
I'm excited for Eternals.
I'm
I'm
I'm excited.
obviously, I'm obviously very excited for Spider-Man. Obviously, it's like a childhood wet dream.
Yeah, then
That
Train 2.
Doctor Strange 2, Sam Raimi behind the camera. Yep, that's an
Thor Love and
automatic.
Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Fucking Christian Bale, dude.
Yeah, like that's gonna be at the very least super fun.
I mean,
Uh,
that's such an awesome get. Like that's one of the gets from Marvel recently where I was like, that's so fucking awesome. I mean,
yeah,
Christian Bale, that's
get off the bloody set. No, I'm sorry. I don't know if you've ever seen that video, but you know, uh, Captain Marvel 2. I'm on.
that's
It's
probably
called
the only one actually. Because
I'm
Black
pretty
Panther 2, I'm
because
obviously excited.
I like Brie Larson a lot. I really didn't feel the first
I
Captain Marvel
feel
film. Like
it's my least favorite Marvel movie.
it felt too corporate, if that made sense.
No, I agree.
It felt like almost like there's nothing behind this other than corporate.
This
Like
movie is gonna need to really sell me on that character for
bro,
sure.
we got a fucking Blade movie coming out. What the hell? That's so
That's
fucking
like
sick.
it sucks that it's far off, but that's like
And
the
the
top
director confirmed he signed on as well, which is
yeah.
really cool. Black Panther 2 is coming, and that's gonna be bittersweet. It's gonna be good to see get back into that world, but it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck without Chadwick Boseman. Like
I
that.
know.
Like I just saw the first 4 episodes of What If. It's gonna suck to not have Chadwick there, but
Yeah. And just looking also, I mean, we got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I mean, that's going to be Kang, so you kind of have to be
yeah,
excited.
yep, yep.
Guardians Volume 3. I mean, James Gunn is a master, and I have no doubt this will be another great movie.
Yeah,
Fantastic Four is Fantastic Four. I mean, literally for the next like 4 years,
yeah, we're pretty
there's
sad.
there's literally one movie I'm not sure if I'm gonna love, and that is it, which it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think you can understand why like Captain Marvel is kind of towards the bottom. It's just that first movie really didn't hit
True.
the
hmm
way that it should have. But
And
how it goes.
And that wasn't even counting all the shows. I mean, the shows are just as exciting.
And
What
then you got Hawkeye coming out, Echo coming out, Moon Knight coming out.
She-Hulk?
It's
Yeah,
just like you're eventually gonna get some sort of Daredevil project as well, and that's
of
gonna be
course.
awesome.
Secret Invasion. I mean, that's gonna be a fucking huge show. I mean, and the cast for that show looks really good too, which is awesome. And
Uh huh.
I mean,
Like
there's just so much.
future is bright in Marvel, and I'm so happy that this movie finally got released. I'm very happy that they didn't that people are going to the theaters to see this movie because it's a good sign for multiple different reasons. Great that this specific movie is getting so much love and attention, and it's also great. It also bodes well for the future as well. You know, with movies like James Bond: No Time to Die that has been pushed back like 6 different times since the beginning of the pandemic. Uh, Movies like Venom that keep getting delayed. You know, we need. I really want to see these movies, man, but we people have to be willing to go to the movies, and like if you're not, that's perfectly fine. It's still a crazy time. I wouldn't blame you, but it's good to see that it's good to see Shang-Chi raking in some dough, because hopefully that means people are more willing to go see these movies, and studios. If people are gonna see them, studios are gonna release them. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll
Yeah.
say.
No, you're right. And we're 2 months off from Eternals now, and supposedly within the next 2 to 3 weeks, they're officially gonna like decide whether or not they're gonna delay the movie. And
This is
I
a
don't,
good sign. This is a
I
good
don't think,
sign if they
yeah.
keep making money. If Shang-Chi keeps making money.
And I just don't see it happening because the thing is, aside from it will just cause so much chaos. Like, do you know how many issues that would lead to in the slate? Like, it would
Yeah,
be pretty problematic, quite honestly.
yeah. As long as Shang-Chi continues to make its money, uh, fuck, they're gonna release it. If my gut says they're gonna release it.
I'm with you. I mean, even
Hopefully,
even Spider-Man, I don't see them moving Spider-Man either because let's be honest, between December and
they move back.
February,
They move back. Let there be carnage, right? Again, I think
yeah,
they
well,
once.
it got pushed back like 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. It's with October 15th. My bad.
Yeah,
I thought it got pushed back to November, but then I remembered that it was Top Gun and Mission Impossible that got
yeah.
moved back. I was like, okay, my bad.
And what's it called? The thing is with No Way Home too. What's the point of delaying from December to February? Because that's what they'd have to do unless Marvel delayed their entire slate, which I
Yeah.
don't see happening. And they're gonna make more money in December around Christmas time for a Spider-Man movie than in February in the dog days. Kind of hoping they do better in a COVID situation. That's probably not going to be a ton better in those 2 months realistically. So I
Mm.
mean, I don't really see why, from a business perspective, they'd even consider that. Honestly, I mean, March, I would say maybe, but you're not going to move it to March unless everybody moves because you'd have to compete with the Batman and Doctor Strange too.
Don't do it.
That's
Don't
what I'm
do
saying.
it.
Like, why would you even think about doing that?
Hopefully the movie that everyone wants to see doesn't get delayed though, and that movie would be Morbius.
I mean, could we just sacrifice Morbius in exchange for no more delays?
You know what? Ever since that Morbius trailer dropped, and we saw Jared Leto cut his hand and the bats swarm him, I think that was foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was foreshadowing. I think Jared Leto started a pandemic. That's my theory.
I
You know
mean,
what? The
I
world has been the
more,
same since that Morbius trailer.
I'm gonna be honest. I could be totally wrong. I feel like that movie's low key gonna be good.
I think
Oh, I
that
have a
movie.
weird feeling it's gonna be just at least good. I don't know why. I can just kind
I
of feel it.
think that movie will be fine. I don't actually think it's gonna be like, oh my god, this is the
No, not
worst
oh
thing.
my
No.
god. I just think it's gonna be like that's actually a respectable movie. Wow.
Yeah, that's like that's what I'd bet on. I wouldn't bet on it being like the best movie of all time, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't say it was gonna be bad. I
That's
think
kind of where I'm at with Sony as a whole outside of Spider-Man. Every time, like even Venom 2, I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna dislike it, but I don't think I'm gonna love it.
yeah, you'll have a fun time with it.
Yeah.
I think these movies. I think they're starting to understand what these movies are, and they are incredibly fun. So,
Yeah.
like, they just go all in on the fun. Is what if I'm Sony, I'm going all in on the fun. Just you know what, fuck it, because you're not making the next Dark Knight with Venom. Have
Mm.
fun.
Yeah. Do you want to go into any news from recently to wrap up, or you want to save that for another time?
Is there any news? Was there any news?
The
Like,
one I would love to talk about, honestly,
go for it.
is we've just found out about the big what if connection to Doctor Strange 2.
I did. Oh
Yes. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's absolutely insane, honestly.
Yeah. Is it I want to make sure we're on the same page. It's Doctor Supreme.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yes,
I
yes. That
think that is the coolest thing ever. I mean, I had a feeling maybe he'd appear somewhere soon, but I am so excited at the thought of, like, what if, because keep in mind, he's going to be interacting
nice
with,
pun.
oh, damn it, I didn't even try to do that, but he's going to try interacting with these people from the MCU, and this isn't like, this might be like the only universe where Christine actually survived, and Christine's in the movie. Like he might even interact with that Christine. I mean, I think that's very much on the table. I mean, and that's pretty.
Christine.
Like it's one of those things where if you saw What If and then you go into that movie, you're really gonna feel the emotions. I think if they do a scene like that, man, like that's why What If is so cool, man. Now that it's actually gonna connect, like that's so awesome, man. I mean, I that was one of my favorite Marvel MC or no, not even MCU, just Marvel things ever, right there. Honestly, that episode was that good to me.
That that was a very very good episode. I'm really looking forward to going back to that world and seeing what's up. Also, another news bit that we found out yesterday was that the Russo brothers were in talks to direct another Marvel movie,
Secret Wars.
but they are now at an impasse due to the Black Widow lawsuit because they are worried about their payment and how the film would be released. So I'm very interested to see what Secret Wars.
The only thing is, realistically, it's whenever they do whatever movie they're gonna sign on for, it's gonna be a movie that's way off in the future. So by then, realistically, the market for theaters will at least be back to a normal place. So I don't think it's gonna
I
be.
can't imagine the
But
pandemic being still around by the time
yeah,
they make a Secret Wars movie.
that's what I'm
But
saying.
but we are Americans and Americans are dumb.
Fair enough.
So nothing surprises me.
So I would say that I don't foresee that being a major issue, quite honestly. But I mean, we'll see. But honestly, even though I like the Russo brothers, I still really would like a different director for Secret Wars. Although, again, I don't think they do it poorly at all. In
I
fact,
think they do a great job, but
yeah, like I
and they
do.
have done a great job. It's just the
Exactly. Like Endgame is my favorite Marvel MCU movie of all time. Like that. So like really, I mean, I don't think that they'd have any problems doing this big event movie like Secret Wars because that's what they're known for. But I think that it's good to get some different writers and creative people in the room.
yeah, that's my thing. Like it's fine that like it's fine to bring them back, but it's the safe choice. And I'm just like, I've always been like, hey, you got like this huge cinematic universe. Uh, give keep finding people that can take their stab at it. You know, like the comic books. You know, there isn't just one person that's written every Avengers comic. You know, like you continue to pass the torch. Like just I think it's time I think the torch just needs to be passed. I feel like after Endgame, I don't understand. I don't really see why the Russos have to come back to direct another big event movie. You know, get what I'm saying?
No, I agree. And honestly, I know you've said this yourself, and a couple other people have. If Multiverse of Madness ends up being great, man, why not give it to Sam Raimi? Like, I mean, I'm just being honest because this is a big event film, and Multiverse of Madness, if anything, is the big test for Raimi because that's an event, that's a clear event film.
Listen, I would give anything for Sam Raimi to direct just every Marvel movie.
I
So
mean,
like yes, that would be one of the top choices. I would also love Sam to come back and do the Tom Holland college Spider-Man trilogy.
I doubt that
Uh,
happens, but
but I doubt that happens. But you know, they were
and
thinking
I
about
get that
they
because
were thinking about
yeah,
it. They were
I do
thinking
get it.
about it.
I mean,
But
I understand that they might want to try someone different aside from someone who already
yeah,
directed.
they're not gonna do it. They're not
It's
gonna do it.
fair. It's
But
fair.
like I can see Raimi sticking around and saying and doing a few other Marvel movies. It would be
I
great
definitely
if he
think he's done
would
after
be
this.
great would be great if he did Doctor Strange 3 as
I was gonna say
well.
I think he's gonna stick with Strange, but I also think event films will be on the table. Like I think he would be at least considered. I'm not saying he'll get one, but if I do, like I don't see Feige not even considering Raimi for something like Secret Wars. I mean, especially because I mean he's really tight with Raimi, man. I mean they've been friends going back to the original Spider-Man trilogy. So I mean, I can definitely see a scenario where if the Russo brothers maybe aren't don't sign on, because I do think Feige will go with them, quite honestly. But if he doesn't, I do think Raimi would be up there as one of the next options.
Yeah. I I think, you know, Sam hasn't directed a movie since 2013, which is just it blows my mind every
It,
time I think about that because he was like the man for like quite a while
he's gonna be the
since
man again, man. I'm telling you, I really
yeah.
believe it.
Sam's first directed movie was 1977, and then he made The Evil Dead in 1981. So I mean, come on, man, like
If you can make
this
the
dude's a
Evil
legend.
Dead, if you can make the Evil Dead and the original Spider-Man trilogy, you
You know,
have a
it's
career.
crazy.
Like, come on, you have a career for yourself for the rest of the time. You're good.
You know what's crazy is like this dude also made like For the Love of the Game, the Kevin Costner
Yes.
pitching baseball movie. And then like one of his next films was Spider Man. It's like what the this dude has had like quite a career, man. Like he's done some he's had some interesting choices along the way. But yeah, and then to see him finally get to direct a Doctor Strange movie specifically, because that's like his second favorite Marvel character after Spider Man. Like that's just dope. And he made a Doctor Strange reference in Spider Man 2. It's like fuck, man, that's awesome. It's great to see. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what he does
Yeah.
with Doctor Strange. He gets it. He knows what he's doing. I trust that man. I trust that man with my life. Okay.
Agree.
So I'd go to war for Sam Raimi.
Uh,
He has directed uh, a Quibi TV series,
yes, he did, and he does a lot of producing. I mean, like he produced a million movies after 2013. I
and
mean,
he's directed like more TV stuff. He did Ash versus Evil Dead.
well, yeah,
Yeah, that's the, so you know he's been around, but he hasn't directed
a
something.
blockbuster.
He hasn't directed something of the magnitude of Doctor Strange since he did that Wizard of Oz movie with James Franco,
Yep.
which in hindsight doesn't look great.
No, no. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I
But,
think that those are the
but
two pieces of news I really wanted to discuss. Do you have anything?
I'm just taking a quick check. A quick check. Quick check. Quick check. I think we're good. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure we're good. I'm happy with what we've discussed.
Yes.
You know, yeah. We're good.
All right. Well, Tom. Oh, actually, wait. Before we finish, I do want to ask because I forgot. What do you want to rate Shang-Chi out of 10?
Ooh,
I know my.
that's good. I haven't fully. I think I'm at a 9.
Wow. Um, I'm probably right at an 8 or 7.5. Probably 8 though.
Good movie. Good movie.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it, man. I really did, and I cannot wait for more of that character. But we're gonna have to wait. So, until next time, this has been a wonderful episode of Cape Time. See you, everybody.
Peace.